One made money from being tattooed, the other makes money from tattooing. One was the tattooed lady back in the Sideshow Alley days. The other operates the Celtic Dragon Tattoo Studio and specialises in Celtic and tribal tattoo work with nearly 50 years of tattooing experience between them. Would you please welcome Cindy Ray and Kiwi Kim. All right, Kiwi, you tattooed, do I call you Kiwi or Kiwi Kim?
Kim.
Or Kim?
Kim. Kim's fine,
yeah. New Zealander.
Yep.
Kim, you tattooed Steve there.
Yeah.
Was he a wuss?
Not really, nah, not really.
Are you doing these more Celtic designs? Is that replacing the anchor and the snake and the...
Yes, I don't do very many anchors and snakes and things. I mostly do Celtic and tribal and a lot of different styles of work.
Are there fads? Do you see phases where people want a certain style of tattoo and then they go into another style of tattoo?
Well, Celtic tattooing is very popular now, but it wasn't really popular until like a few years ago, and I saw it being done in England, and I got a piece on me myself from England, and when I came back to, because I was living in England, and I came back to Australia, and people saw it, they go, I like that, and I said, well, I can do it, and I started doing it. And when
did you decide you wanted to be a tattooist?
Oh, it was a long time ago. It was about 79, 1979.
Did you come across any discrimination toward you because you're a woman in this industry? Yes,
because back then it was only men that were tattooing, and I used to work with another, like mostly all men, and when people would come in to get tattooed, they'd say, oh, where's the tattooist? And I'd say, I'm the tattooist. And they'd go, what, a woman? Ah, I want to see the man. I don't think a woman can do a good job.
Are there any parts of the body that you would not tattoo?
Yeah, I don't do genitals. Don't do faces, necks, hands, but everywhere else there's no problem.
And why do you make that decision? What made you arrive at that particular standpoint?
Well, I won't do faces because it sort of makes it hard for someone to get a job if they've got tattoos on their face, and I don't think it looks very nice. Makes it look like they've been in jail if they've got like little dots or teardrops or anything, you know.
I heard of somebody who had, did I make this up? Who told us about the bloke who had I love fish and chips on his forehead?
Yeah, I love fish and chips on his forehead, yeah. Somebody in the writer's room had seen him, Steve, but he was actually at a fish shop and couldn't make up his mind what he wanted, which was the embarrassing part.
And he had done it himself, hadn't he?
He had done it himself.
In a mirror.
Yeah.
So when he'd finished with it, it was I love fish and chips backwards.
Backwards, yeah.
Which was the more fatal part of the whole exercise. Cindy Ray, you were a tattooed lady.
Yes.
How many tattoos does it take to become a tattooed lady?
Quite an amount of them.
So how many have you got on you?
Well, I don't really count them. They just sort of all merge into each other.
How many would you reckon you've got?
Well, there'll be a few hundred of them.
Hundreds of them. It's incredible.
There's still plenty more room, though.
You started being tattooed in what year?
1960.
And that would have been a fairly extraordinary thing for a woman to do at that time?
It was.
What was the reaction?
Well, when I was on show, I got a few reactions. People would say, oh, you wouldn't take her home to meet your mother.
Well, there's you at the time.
Then you'd have other people say how interesting it'd be. They wouldn't have to buy comic books because the kids could just look at all the pictures.
They could read you.
Yes.
And how did your family react at the time?
Oh, that's another matter. I had to leave home for 3 weeks till Dad calmed down.
So where did you go?
Down to my grandmother's. Very understanding lady.
And she was relaxed toward it?
Yes.
So then you joined a sideshow.
Yes.
And how did you find it with people coming in and staring at you? I mean, how do you think they perceived you?
Well, I doubt if they thought that they were actually tattooed on. They sort of look at you and think that it was something you'd painted all over yourself. I've actually been scrubbed by a policewoman at Hobart Show who thought that I was conning the people.
Thought it was a put-up?
Yes, because there's so many were put-ups and sideshows back then. I mean, there was one banner out the front of one showground I was on that said, come and see the man eating fish inside, and people are going, there's the guy sitting there eating a piece of flake. Well, they actually saw what was on the banner.
Was there, well, who else was in the? What other people were in the sideshow?
Well, they had the boxing troupe, and they also had the half man, half woman, which
did that
is Julie
consist of?
Desmond. Well, that was quite good, really. She actually had a breast on one side, which was done with silicone, and she'd come on with long hair, which was her own, and this nice formed breast, and a slinky dress. The other side's a bee and the short hair. And she'd come out and she'd start thumping on the piano and singing. I was a big man yesterday, but Lordy, I'm a big girl now. And people would be just, you know, looking at this and couldn't believe what they were seeing.
Gee, now that's entertainment. Whatever happened to the good old-fashioned acts like that, Sambo? Just picking up on what Jono was talking about, do you have any regrets about the tats that you've got?
Yes, I should never have got them from the knees down. I'm sort of restricted if I'm going out that I'm wearing long pants and long sleeves.
But you don't regret the ones over your body?
No, nobody can see them. Why regret them?
So you're happy with that? And, and
yes.
really, just picking up on what Jono said, it's more the public perception of the tats rather than your own view of them.
Yes.
Oh, that's interesting. Look, we've got to take a break. We'll be back with Jono and with Kim, and Cindy Ray, and with Betters up and stick around. This is television.
Women are wearing tattoos in different ways today. The previous connotations have changed. There's the influence of tribal motives and the elevation of tattooing to the status of art.
Welcome back. I'm with Kiwi Kim and Cindy Ray. We're talking about tattoos. Do you think guys find women with tattoos sexy?
Well, some of them probably do, but a lot of men would probably find women with tattoos a turn-off.
What's your opinion,
they
Cindy
didn't
Ray?
like them.
You've had a number of years on this one.
Well, I feel exactly the same Kim does. Now and again you'll find somebody that's totally obsessed with a woman with tattoos, but it's not the normal thing.
When someone comes into a tattoo parlour, we were talking about this before with X, occasionally, you know, there'd be people who are, you know, half-tanked and whatever. What steps does a tattooist take to stop someone, well, I suppose, being exploited?
Well, we get a lot of people coming in that, as X said before, they're not sure of what they want. You know, they haven't made up their mind. They're quite young. You know, you've got to be 18 by law to get tattooed. And so if they come in and they're very young and they're sort of indecisive, they're sort of going, you know, like I've had women come in and they say, oh, I like that tattoo, I want to get that one, but I can always get it removed later if I want it. And I say, look, you don't want a tattoo. Go and get a temporary one, because you know they're not ready. They're not ready for.
Do you get a lot of guys coming in with mates, you know, as a result of bets or dares or bucks turns things or something like that?
Occasionally. I'll tell you a funny story. I had a bloke come in the other day and he's in the Army Reserve. And he bought his own little design in of a Tasmanian devil going like this. And I said...
Going like what?
Going like this.
All right.
And he wanted, you know, he wanted this tattoo on his bum. And I said, okay, I'll do it for you, but I'll have to redraw it. And he goes, oh no, I want it exactly like this. And the drawing wasn't exactly, you know, the right, you know, it wasn't a very well drawn design. And so I said, look, I'll redraw it for you and then I'll do it for you. And we did it. And the whole time I was tattooing him, he was making comments about my other worker who I've got working for me. He was tattooing a lady on the breast, and this bloke I was tattooing keep commenting about getting the gaffer tape out to hold the tits down and stuff. God. I had to keep telling him to shut up.
If you lose a fair bit of weight, what happens to your tattoo? Does it sort of shrink up, or? I mean,
it grows with you. If you put on weight, your tattoo gets bigger. You lose weight, your tattoo gets smaller.
Stretches around. What can you do to keep the tattoo? You know, you see some tattoos that have gone all blue or gone the one colour. Why is that?
That is because constant exposure to the sun, it breaks down the pigment in the skin and spreads it out. Tattoos done these days, like if a person, I always tell people to keep their tattoos out of the sun because it's the sun that's the thing that fades them, right? And like if a person wears, you know, like keeps the tattoo covered, the tattoo's going to look better. Like my tattoos are very bright, and that is because, you know, I always keep them covered when I go in the sun. You know, if I want to show them off, I show them off in the evening. You know, I just tell people to cover them up in the daytime in the hot sun, show them off at night. If they want to show them off at night.
And do you put anything on your skin to keep them intact or to enhance their...
Well, you know, like in summer, I usually tell people to put block out on, you know, like the 15 block out. And that protects them too.
What about AIDS? Obviously, you know, when you're pricking the skin like that, that must be a worry these days.
Yeah, it is. But we all use, like, we all work to high sterilisation standards. We use single-service needles and tubes, and they're all sterilised in a hospital-type steriliser and autoclave. We wear disposable gloves. All the ink, everything in conjunction with the tattoo is all disposed of afterwards. So there's no chance of any infection as long as the person goes to a reputable studio, the tattooist, using sterilised equipment.
Let's just have a look at the actual process. X is doing it over there. Can we just see you working away there, X? X, is AIDS something that you're conscious of as you work away? Not necessarily with Teresa, but is AIDS something that you're conscious of as a tattooist?
I think that in a lot of terms, customers are very dangerous to us, in fact, because they bring AIDS to us rather than us giving AIDS to them. But again, all precautions are taken at all times to ensure that both the customer and the tattooist are protected. And again, it's just like what Kim says, you know, we use autoclave sterilisation, new needles, new inks, new everything. Quite often we're, how do you say, this is quite difficult. We try to encourage people to declare if they do have a transmittable disease, but that isn't necessarily law in the ACT, for instance.
Yeah.
As far as I know, Steve, I don't think there's ever been a documented case of HIV being transferred via tattooing. I think the main concern is hepatitis, really, isn't it, X?
I think hepatitis D and E, and C, D and E in particular, E has a, you can immunise against it, but hepatitis C is endemic in the Australian population, and that presents quite a big difficulty to tattooists themselves. It's a very difficult disease to shift, and it's a very easy disease to transmit. So, in fact, the person who's really at most risk with transmittable diseases is the tattooists themselves.
Okay, we're going to take a break. We'll be back with more of this tattoo show after this. Back to our tattoo show. We've got a tattooist and a tattooed lady and a tattooed member of the band, Sam C there.
Pretty scary stuff.
Sam, you're almost a sideshow freak yourself.
I am indeed. I was actually asking I was asking if X would do a repair job on mine.
What's your tat?
Well, it was supposed to be a majestic dolphin, but it actually looks more like a mullet, as you can see.
Looks like a bit of flake, really, doesn't it?
Sam, for a repair job on that, mate, I get 3 quotes.
Yeah, that's right. You do a fair bit of repairs, do you, ladies, when you're repairing people's tats?
Yes.
People come in and say, can I have this modified? I had the snake done and now I want to turn it into a dragon or something like that?
Yeah,
And cover-up work.
Yeah, well, a lot of people, they'll go and let their friend tattoo them at home, or they'll go to a person working out of their kitchen that's, you know, like we call them backyarders, and they're amateurs and they really don't know what they're doing. They're not working hygienically, the tattoo can get infected, things like that. The person comes in, they've got this mess on their arm, what can you do with this? Oh, we'll just have to put a big dragon over it or something. And
yeah. Welcome back. I'm with Amazing Raymond, and in fact, this is a bit of a con. I'm not getting. This is not a real tattoo. This is a transfer, isn't it, Raymond?
Design outline transferred on the skin.
And for people who think, you know, maybe I should get one, maybe I'll give it a burl. This is the thing to try, and then if you like it, you can move on to the real thing. You know, and this comes off, doesn't it, Raymond?
Yeah, 2 or 3 days through normal showers, or it'll come off instantly with any alcohol.
Okay, we're just about out of time. We've got to thank everybody. Would you thank Kiwi Kim and Cindy Ray for being with us? And Amazing Raymond, and X and Therese over there for showing us how it's done. And thank you, Australia, for being with us. I found it absolutely fascinating. And thanks, Jono, for sharing that with us. We really appreciate that. Tomorrow night is Stubbsy's 100th show. It's a pyjama party, and that will be worth seeing. Stick around. We'll see you tomorrow night. Bye-bye.